Hi guys, my name is Elsner from TIGERFISH Tutorials, and today I want to show you one of several possibilities to create a synthetic water film or synthetic water droplets on a wooden floor. The water film I created in this picture directly from nothing, so to speak. It's a simple combination of add noise and Gaussian blur with a few adjustment layers. Then you apply a couple of effects like bevel and emboss, drop shadow, etc. It's very easy. So let's take a look how it's done. So let's begin. You open up a picture of a wooden floor or wooden panel. This picture you can download on my website. You convert the background to a layer, we name it floor, and now we have to expand the canvas 50 pixels in each direction. And the reason why I'm doing this is because as we apply the layer style to our droplets or the water film, we are going to have some harsh beveled edges around the perimeter of the image itself. That's gonna look totally wrong, so we have to crop these edges away. So go to canvas, image canvas, and expand it 50 pixels in each direction. 50-50, hit OK. So we expanded the canvas. By the way, this tutorial works with any kind of surface, so you can shoot a photo of your wall, your floor, paper, anything. Or otherwise you can download the image of this floor here at this web address on tigerfishtutorials.com. So at first we have to generate some noise. We start with Control-Shift-N to create a new layer, or Command-Shift-N on the Mac, and we call this layer noise. And the noise command need something to work with, so we fill this layer with 50% gray. For this purpose, click Shift Backspace, you get the fill command, and here you use 50% gray, the mode is normal, opacity 100%, hit OK. So the next thing is that we want to create some noise, so you go to Filter, Noise, Add Noise, and the mount is 50%, distribution is uniform and monochromatic, hit OK. So the next step is we want to gum these pixels here together, and we do this by applying the Gaussian blur filter. So we go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian blur, and you can see the pixels here come together. So we work with a radius of 30 pixels, or 29 will work also, so hit OK. So now we don't see anything, and we have to increase the contrast between the new generated blobs and the background. So pick an adjustment layer like this here, which is a threshold, and you can see this result. Black represents the water and white the background behind the water, and we can play a little bit with the threshold level. If we go to 127, there is no water at all. 126, even less. So 129 works for me quite well. You have to think about that the add noise filter is a random effect, so it may take a few swings to get the right effect. You won't get the same results as I do. So the problem is, if we zoom into this pixel, into this picture, that we have here very harsh transition between black and white. We have jagged edges, so we have to clean that jagged edges with the Gaussian blur and the levels command up. First of all, we want to merge everything by pressing Control Alt Shift E, which merges all layers together. It's on the Mac Command Option Shift E. Then we go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and here we work with a radius of 5 or 6 pixels. I take 6 pixels, and you see we have a blurred edge here. After this we click on the Levels command here with the Option key or Alt key, so we have a new layer, and this layer I call whatever level, and we type in for this the values 120, 1 and 145, and you see now the edges are finer and not so jagged as they were before. So now we go to the channels layer and control click or command click on any kind of layer here, like blue for example, and now we have the white area selected, so we want to select the black areas. Go to select inverse. You can't see the changes, but now we have the black area selected. We go to RGB, back to layers, and now we want to group all these layers here. You shift click. If this level layer is selected, you shift click on the noise layer and hit Control G or Command G on your keyboard to generate this group, or down below on this group here, so you can see all the layers are grouped in this layer. Yeah, turn it off. Next thing is you create a new layer, and just click down below on new layer, and if your foreground color is black, you just simply hit Alt or Option Backspace and you fill the selection with black. Then you hit Control D or Command D on the Mac to deselect everything. So next step is you hit the effects button here below and choose bevel and emboss, and now we have to create our fluid effect. Inner bevel is okay, smooth is also okay. For the depth you take the value up to 120%. Size, I've played around a little bit, is 15 pixels, okay. Soft and zero stays the same. For the shading, 135 degrees, global light and altitude 65 worked very fine for me. So now for the gloss contour, you click on this arrow and choose ring, and now you click on this area here, on this contour area, and you get the contour editor where you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points, and we move this input point to 95, and you can see here at the edges of our liquid the changes. Okay, we go to 95%, hit OK. So for the highlight mode we choose linear dodge in brackets add, and for the shadow mode linear burn, which is here, and a black color doesn't work very well on a brown floor, so I played around a little bit, and for me the values 35, 35 and 35 worked very well. Hit OK, and we pull down the opacity to 15%. Hit OK. So now we have this black effect here, and now we pull down the fill value here of the layer to 5%, and you can imagine that this will be a nice fluid effect, but we have to do some more effects. So now you click on drop shadow here and activate drop shadow, go on drop shadow, and for the drop shadow we again click here on this black color, and again we dial in the values 35, 35, 35. Hit OK. Multiply is OK. Opacity is 75%. Distance is 5 pixels. Spread 0 and size 10 pixels. Okay, next thing is we want to add an inner shadow, so activate inner shadow. And for the inner shadow we have again an opacity, I pull it down to 35%, and again here the color is 35, 35, 35. Hit OK. Distance is 10, choke 0 and size 15 pixels. So, and the last thing we want to add is color overlay. If I deactivate it for a moment, you have a clear fluid here, and maybe it's not right. We have maybe a slight bluish effect in the fluid. So activate color overlay. Click on the color swatch here, and here you dial in values for blue color 210, 50 and 100. Hit OK. And now this is not a very good effect. We pull down the opacity to 5 or 10%. Okay, so hit OK, and you see here this is almost the final effect. But if you take a look at liquids, they work like a lens, so they refract light, but this final thing is missing. This liquid is not distorting anything of the floor, so there's no kind of reflection going on, and I think we have to fix this problem. And we will do this by building us a displacement map. So you control click or command click on this layer here to select the fluid. Okay, now you go to select and save selection, and the destination document is a new document, channel new. You don't give a name, just hit OK, and you get this new document here, Untitled 2, and this is a black and white file which is created. You choose now image and mode grayscale, because we want to work with a grayscale image, and that converts the file from an alpha channel to a single channel grayscale image. And now we need to expand the black regions, and for this purpose we go to filter, other, and to the minimum command, and the minimum command expands the region covered by the minimum luminance levels, which is black, and we choose 6 pixels, which I already did, so hit OK. If I press Command Z, you can see, okay, that's the effect of the minimum command. And now we create a blur between the black and white regions for a softer transition. Again, filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and we choose a radius of 10 pixels. Okay, so now we apply another adjustment effect, go to image adjustments and choose the levels command. Very important is that you do not work with an adjustment layer right now, but instead with a static adjustment, because for the displacement we need a flat file. So we change the output level here down below to 128. So everything which is black is converted to 50% gray, and this 50% gray areas don't displace the pixels and no distortion will occur. Okay, very important. Hit OK. And now you go to File, Save As, and you save this file as displacement map or anything you like. Hit Enter. And now you go back to your first file, to your wooden panel. Press Ctrl or Command D to deselect. And we duplicate this floor layer by pressing Ctrl Alt J or Command Option J. Name it floor copy, it's okay. And now you go to Filter, Distort, Displace, and you get this Displace menu. And now it's very important to know in which direction you want to displace. And here you can see we have vertical floorboards going from up to down. So we want to distort from left to right. Okay, if you have a horizontal floorboard, you have to distort up and down. So we choose for our picture a horizontal scale of -4. So we distort to the right side, and the vertical scale stays at 0. So which means no distortion in the up or down direction. If you have another file, you have to choose other values, yeah? Which means horizontal floorboards have horizontal scale 0 and vertical scale, for example, 4 or -4. And you choose -4 because you want to distort to the right side, because the light is coming from the left side. And we have the reflexes here on the left side. Okay, very important. Otherwise it would look very odd and wrong. Okay, hit OK. Now Photoshop asks you where the displacement map is. Choose the displacement map and you can see immediately the displacement map effect, the distortion here to the right side. I press Ctrl Z and again, and you can see how everything inside the liquid is distorted. But we have a little bit of a problem here at the edges of the liquid. I think you wouldn't have noticed it, but the pixels are a little bit distorting outside the water droplets, and therefore we have to add a layer mask. I zoom in a little bit so that you can see what I mean. You control click on the droplets layer here, layer 2, and click now on the floor copy layer here, and then you click on the add mask. Okay. And now you can see that no pixels outside, that the pixels outside the water droplets are not distorted anymore. I show you by shift clicking on the floor copy layer to turn off the layer mask, and you can see, if you take a look at these pixels here, that if the layer mask is active, we have no distortion. Okay. So I zoom out of the picture by pressing Command or Control 0 on the numpad, and now we have to crop the picture, because you can see here on the edges the water droplets have some edges, which is not a natural feature, so we crop the image. Go up to the image menu, click on canvas size, and hit here dial in -50 pixels, -50 pixels. Hit OK. So Photoshop says the canvas size is smaller, blah blah blah. Some clipping will occur, and that's a lie. There won't be any kind of clipping, so click proceed, and that's the final picture. I hit F on the keyboard and F again, and zoom in, and that's our final effect. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this small tutorial on how to create a water film on a wooden floor. Hit subscribe to our YouTube channel if you like the tutorial, or visit us on Facebook, and also visit our website for another nice tutorial, and stay tuned and see you at the next tutorial on Tigerfish Tutorials. Bye bye.